As a psychiatrist, I bear witness to a broken system. Take the following example. If a parent has two kids, one of them has diabetes and one of them has mental illness, and they seek medical care, the child with diabetes, well, they get world-class care, but the child with mental illness is sent home with a piece of paper and a 12 to 18-month wait. When these patients and families look for help, they're not welcomed with open arms. Instead of unconditional empathy, they're treated with shame, blame, indifference, and stigma. But it doesn't have to be this way. I know that I became a doctor because I thrived on connection. But early in my training, I began to feel like memorizing books and facts will not make me a good doctor. It wasn't until my third year that I began to thrive because of this connection with my patients. I remember very clearly one of my patients was passing away of cancer. And I remember being paralyzed with fear that if I visited her, that my emotions will somehow bubble up to the surface. Now I shared this with my friends and colleagues, and they all gave me the same message. They told me that I needed to stop being so sensitive. Every time I felt like my emotions might show themselves, the messages that I received from my training were similar. Numb yourself, harden yourself, and protect yourself from feeling anything too deeply. Now, my journey had many twists and turns, but I ended up becoming a psychiatrist. When people ask me what I do for a living, I proudly shared that my job was to cultivate hope for young people who are serious about detaching themselves from the world. I began practicing as a psychiatrist, but before long, I began to feel like I was a hamster on a spinning wheel, running and running on this cycle of admission and discharge. I wasn't really helping anyone, and I knew that something was not right. But when I was on call and I saw my colleagues, it was like they were running on their own spinning wheels. I saw their humanity when I talked to them about their weekend, but when I watched them with their patients, it was like I was watching someone completely different. Watching them was like looking in a mirror at myself, and I wasn't happy with what I saw. So I scaled back my clinical responsibilities, and I tried to translate these questions into research on the connection and the relationship between health professionals and patients. When I spoke to these same patients and families as a researcher instead of a doctor, I quickly learned that no matter how well-intentioned we are, our patients don't hear what we intend to say. When they get to see our humanity, that strengthens the quality of their care, it strengthens the connection, and it strengthens the quality of their healthcare experience. In my research, we also looked at what happened when we gave feedback to health professionals that they might have biases that are unconscious and out of their conscious control. These health professionals told us that getting feedback that they might have bias felt like a punch to the gut. In this toxic culture of healthcare, learning that you're anything but a fantasy perfect version of yourself is a very difficult realization. And it means that there's something wrong. So it took time to reconnect with who I truly was and my authentic self, to find balance. But with that balance came the realization that you don't have to disconnect from your humanity to do what you do. Now, this may seem trivial, but I want you to know this. The person that you're going to encounter on the other side is the product of a dysfunctional system. It's a system that teaches us that we need to disconnect from who we truly are in order to succeed. But we all know that that's not working. We know that it's connection that drives trust. And we need your help to co-create a new culture, a culture of healing that's built on the foundation of our shared humanity.